I know I'm getting old because it's really difficult for me to pass up a good deal. And in this video, I'm going to tell you about a Alabama online notary course that costs only $5. I kid you not. My name's Michelle. Welcome back. And if this is your first video that you're watching of mine, welcome. I'm in the state of Alabama. I'm a commissioned notary, but I'm also a notary instructor. So, my surprise, a couple of weeks ago, when I stumbled across a website, company's website advertising a $5, that's right, one, two, three, four, $5 notary training course that's 2.5 hours long. I had to buy it. And I talk about this in a video that I did for President's Day. So I will link it either up here, over there, or in the description. Well, I finally made the time to go through the training, and I wanted to share with you what I found. Now, the name of the company that offers the training course is Notary.net. Notary.net. I'm very familiar with the company. In fact, before they were Notary.net, they were, I hope I get this right, NotaryRotary.com. I'm familiar with them. I've had a business relationship with them for a while. I still visit their Notary Rotary website. I have a profile on their website, but more importantly, years ago, Notary.net and I became affiliate partners. And I believe that relationship continues to this day. I haven't checked, I haven't gotten anything saying it's over, but the relationship makes it so that if I provide a link to any of my students or members of my notary group, the notary gets a generous discount on notary supplies. Does not apply to training, I don't think, does not apply to bonds and E&O insurance, just supplies. And Notary.net then sends me a small commission. Now, in this video, I was not asked to promote the course. I'm simply providing you with feedback. And to be honest, my feedback may not please Notary.net, but I want to be objective and honest and professional so that you'll have enough information to decide on your own if you want to spend $5 on their training. I know, I mean, what costs $5 anymore? I can think of a few things that cost $5 years ago, but training, online training, $5. I also thought this was a one-time holiday special, but I made sure, logged into the site, and it is still, as of today, which is February 25th, 2025, it is still $5. So we'll take a peek at that landing page before I log off. But right now, I want to just jump right into the training. Keep in mind, it is, here we go. So for $5, you get a on-demand, online, self-paced access to this training site. And there are 33, 34, 35, I'm going to call them chapters, all right, or sections of the course. And I am going to quickly run through the headings and just give some commentary. So out of 33, 4, 5 sections, 17 of those are, in my opinion, both personal and professional, contain good, accurate, up-to-date information that complies with Alabama's current notary laws. Okay. So, starting off, the first section is resources. There is a Alabama Notary Forum. When I logged in, and as you know, a forum usually implies where notaries and students can interact and ask questions. And it does appear that the students can ask the instructor a question. The instructor responds, and others in the group can see the Q&A. There were only a handful, maybe 5 questions that were asked and answered. And those questions were about the notary's role, setting fees. So was not a lot of conversation going on. The next section is Alabama notary laws. My comments about that is that section really doesn't cover Alabama notary laws. Really, what it's showing are samples of notarial certificate wording. So if you're a CEO of a company, then you would want the notary to use this type of notary certificate when notarizing the CEO's signature. And there were some references to notary law, but it's dating back to 2012 requirements. All right. Now for the actual course, section 1 is an introduction, no issues there. What I do like about the training is there is text for you, the notary, to read, and then there is also a short video that the instructor has posted of him speaking to the camera and elaborating on the information in text. I like that. It made it easy to follow along. But in the introduction section, the last time it was updated was October 30th, 2020. But again, that was just an introduction section. The next section covered notary powers. This section was pretty much okay, but again, it has not been updated since July 2018. It states that a journal is required, and a journal is not required in Alabama by notaries. That was done away with in 2012. Granted, anyone who has taken my class knows I am a big proponent on using the Notary Journal. And so I'm sure notary.net feels the same way. It is strongly recommended, but it is not required. And I do think for training, it's important to distinguish between what is actual law versus best practice. The next section is called Notary Requirements. It mentions you have to be a certain age to be a notary. That is not reflected in our statutes or laws here in Alabama. The next section is notary information. It has outdated information about what it costs to become a commission notary. It also has outdated information about the bond amount that notaries need in order to be commissioned. I better hurry up because all of my alarms are going to go off. So you know what I should do? I think I should turn off this phone because otherwise another alarm will sound. Section 5 talks about journal entries. Again, I've already talked about the requirement, but that this section does a good job of saying make sure you record X, Y, and Z if you are keeping a journal. It all does make reference to optionally getting a thumbprint from the signer. I'm on the fence about that. I don't collect fingerprints, but there's nothing in our code, our laws that say we cannot ask for a signer's fingerprint. The next section talks about fees. It gives examples of fees, and unfortunately, it is still showing the $5 per notarial act, which is old news. It is now $10 per notarial act. It also lacks additional information about who can and cannot charge a fee. So it got part of the information right, but it left out what I think is some important information. The next section is called What is a Notary? I thought that the instructor did a very good job explaining the notary's role and responsibilities. And he accomplished that in a Q&A format, so posting frequently asked questions about the notary's role and responsibilities and answering those questions. And what is a notary carries over into two sections, and both sections I feel had very good information. The next section is called documents. Again, it states that a journal is mandatory and it is not in Alabama. Otherwise, that section is fine. The next section is called acknowledgement. I felt thumbs up on that section. Typical acknowledgement is the next section. Good. Gave some really good examples of different types of acknowledgements that we notaries here in Alabama will need to know about and be comfortable with. And so there are typical acknowledgements and types of acknowledgement. I give them thumbs up on both of those sections. The next section is oaths. And I felt that the instructor, the training course does a good job on that, except while it does give examples of different types of oaths we are called upon to perform. The training does not include a sample of an oath of office. And you know, here in Alabama, it is common for me to be asked to swear in a new notary. Same with you. So I noticed that that was missing. There was no information on that. And by the way, I'm working on a video that demonstrates the oath of office, and I hope you'll make sure that you watch it when I upload it. All right, moving on. The next section, I numbered these. I'm calling it section 14. It's on jurats and verifications. I thought that that was handled very well. Same as section 15, affidavit. On point with affidavits, very helpful information. Section 16, depositions. I waffled on this section. I think that it is somewhat confusing, could be misleading, but when I studied it longer, I felt like, okay, I think I know where the instructor is going here, so I gave it a thumbs up. The next section is called Other Notary Acts. I had a few issues with other notary acts that we're able to perform. I said, not okay, because this section says in Alabama, we should not notarize wills, living wills, trusts, codicils, and we should refer those requests to the State Bar Association. I'm really unclear on where that's coming from. This is a type of notarization that we are allowed to do and shouldn't have any issues with these. Granted, if you've never done one, you'll need to get some support and mentoring and help before you attempt to do it. I mean, these are very important documents. I know some folks will say, well, every document is important, and not to the same extent. So I disagreed with that. I would have liked to have seen the course mention the Alabama marriage certificate. That is a very unique notarization that we perform. And this section talks about, it mentions marriages. This is why I say that. It mentions marriages, but implies Alabama notaries don't need to worry about marriages because notaries can only marry people in 3 states. Now, that may be true that we don't marry the individuals in our community, but we are very involved. Every couple that gets married has to appear before a notary. So I think it would have been good if there had been information about that mention. And then I made a note about certified copies. I believe certified copies mentioned, but there was just a little either incomplete information or incorrect information about certified copies and how those get handled. The next section, 18, talked about loose certificates, also known as loose notarial certificates. Thumbs up on that section. Also, thumbs up on section 19, identification. Section 20, other ID. My comments are not okay. Why? because this section says that we can use credible witnesses to identify signers. And if you subscribe to my channel and have watched some recent videos, I go into a lot of detail about credible witnesses and how we cannot use that method to identify signers. Now, Section 20 does talk about subscribing witnesses, but it's not that clear. It's not explained well enough. So I think that it will confuse as opposed to inform. Okay. The next section, 21, titled Fraudulent ID, thumbs up. Good job there. Section 22, case studies. This section offers some good examples of notarizations gone wrong, but the one case that it cites, Vancura versus Catras, I think it needs to be updated because I believe something has changed since this training course was put together that changes the outcome. I could be wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. Section 23, letter to the boss. Nice touch. I like it. It is a template, a sample letter that notaries could use after they have gone through training to send to their employer, their boss, to say, look, I took this training and I want to share with you a couple things that I think it's important for you and the folks here at work who are going to ask me to notarize. Personal appearance. That's the only one that jumps out at me, but lists a few. I thought that was really nice. Yeah, big thumbs up on that one. And I would encourage those of you who keep running into situations where your boss or someone in authority is asking you to perform notarizations incorrectly, fraudulently, out of compliance with Alabama law, to consider sending a letter like the one in this template. Section 24 gave some scenarios. I said, okay, and I should have elaborated on that, but I didn't. So I can't tell you why I think it's okay. Give me just a moment. I want to make sure there are no pop-ups coming. But scenarios. Yeah, but oh, was that the yeah, I think I don't know. But I said okay, so good scenarios. Section 25. Yeah, and let me pause here. Yeah, let me pause. So I'm impressed with how much information is being provided. I'm at section 25, and that excludes the introduction. No, it doesn't. But it excludes the notary forum and that preliminary Alabama notary laws. So from introduction on, we're at starting the 25th chapter or section. And I think that's impressive. Granted, it's not all accurate, but the attempt was definitely made to not shortchange the student. All right. 25 deals with advertising. My notes are this section does not apply in Alabama, but is considered notary best practice in most states. But I really didn't care for it. I mean, one example is this, which is fine. We should not use the term notario publico, because that does not really describe what we do here in Alabama, and it rarely describes what notaries do in any of the 50 states. It is really a title and a role, more importantly, that notaries fulfill in countries south of the United States. I don't know why I'm stumbling over that now, just with all this talk and politics now. Yeah, that's crazy. All right, moving on. Um, and with advertising, what was another suggestion? But I mean, why I didn't like it, fine with the Notario Publico. I'm good with that. But it was very adamant. You can't do this. You can't promote or advertise or whatever. And again, there's nothing in our code or laws that suggests, let's say that. All right. Section 26, discrimination. Again, this section is wrong for Alabama. One of the things that it says is the content of the document does not matter. You know, I've been wondering where Alabama notaries are getting this from. They must be taking this course. I'm going to have to start asking. But this isn't true. Now, this was last updated July 2018. September 1, 2023, our mandatory training and our laws state otherwise. So this is something that I think needs to come out. Section 28, criminal penalties. It's their list, the list of penalties that's in this training class is incomplete. The list that we have now is much longer, and it separates misdemeanors versus felonies. And be, because of that, and because of the new investigation requirements, or I won't call them requirements, because now we have an investigative unit, I think it's really important for criminal penalties to be accurate. Section 29, protection. Oh, I couldn't remember what that was like. Protection. They're talking about notary protection, errors and omission insurance. Spot on. Not spot on, but correct information. Section 30, statistics. Great topic. Unfortunately, the pie charts and graphs did not show up. There's a broken link. But if you play the video, you'll get the gist of what's being talked about, and it's good information that is going to encourage me or prompt me to do some more research and share this with you. I'll go ahead and tell you. Colorado, apparently the state of Colorado, excuse me, did a survey and found that, did an audit of notarizations and found that 44% of the notarizations reviewed, it was found that the signer did not personally appear before the notary, but still the notary notarized the signature of the signer. Then Colorado instituted mandatory training because they wanted to lower those numbers. And unfortunately, this is coming back to me now, the numbers didn't go down the way they should have gone down. So now that I remember this, because I took this course years ago, I believe the audit was of claims or lawsuits, complaints that were filed. And when the investigation or the audit was done, they found that the reason why these were notarial errors was because the signer did not appear before the notary. And so in these situations, either payments had to be made from the notary bond or the notary E&O policy. I'm going to poke around and see if I can get more information on that. I think that would be interesting to see. But yeah, I'm not surprised. There are still too many notaries notarizing the signatures of signers who never show up in the flesh in front of the notaries. All right, so I'm almost done. Section 31, a checklist. I wrote down, I wasn't fond of it at all. I'm big on checklists. Anyone who's taken my training, Notary Basics or just the basics, big on that. But this checklist had some unusual things for the notary to do. Section 32, the final instructions, I just wrote down incorrect. So that means whatever was outlined in Section 32 does not apply to us here in Alabama. Section 33 is good because it allows you to immediately download your certificate of completion from this $5 course. So to wrap up, here's what I like about Notary.net's Alabama Notary training course. It only costs $5. The landing page where you register or buy the course does say that the training is not state approved, and I appreciate that. That course does not satisfy Alabama's mandatory training requirements. It also implies that it's kind of like an overview. They don't use that word, but I kind of like that it's not everything you need to know to be a successful Alabama notary. The other thing I like about this course is that the videos plus the text, that combination, I mentioned this earlier, I thought was real nice, and it makes it easy for the student to stay engaged and interested and flow along. And also some of the video content is humorous, which is nice. And the gentleman I forget his name. I'm not sure if he gives his name. He is a good speaker, clear communicator, and holds your attention. Um, already mentioned, again, it's like almost half, close to half of the sections contain correct information. You see how I flipped that? The other half doesn't, but the other half does. I think this course is okay for seasoned, experienced Alabama notaries who have already completed some form of training. I do not recommend it for newbie notaries. I think it will be confusing, misleading. Um, so those are the pros. The cons I pretty much shared, but I just want to wrap it up. Um, again, the sections that are wrong or don't apply to the state of Alabama. And that landing page does say state specific. And so that's why I keep harping on the incorrect information. It's not, maybe it is state specific. No, it's not. It's not. All right. Again, there was no mention of the new notary fee amount that notaries can charge for notarial acts. No mention whatsoever about remote notarization, which is something that we can perform, albeit not remote online notarization, but remote ink notarization. To repeat something I said earlier, I still feel strongly there should be some mention of the notary's role, the Alabama notary's role, because only an Alabama notary's signature and seal is allowed on the marriage certificate here in our state. And that is it. So, what do you think? Based on all of my comments, compared with a $5 registration fee, is it worth it? Would it be worth it to you? I'd like to hear your comments below. Let me know if you choose to register. I just want to get your thoughts about it. And you know what? While I was going through this, I was thinking about notary.net and how they might feel after seeing this video. Again, my intent is not to poke fun, to be ugly, to be negative. I hope it is taken as constructive criticism, but you know what? Perhaps I should reach out to them and offer to help or update. Um, because again, these gray hairs, um, you want wisdom to accompany the gray hair. And it's easy to be critical of something and someone when really it's nicer to offer to help. So I'll let you know if I follow through on that. I hope you found this helpful. Again, let me know if you choose to spend $5 on this. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to quickly show you where it is, where to go. Again, I do not believe I get any commission. I'm pretty sure I don't, which is fine. But here it is. Just go to notary.net and then look for Alabama Notary online course, add it to your cart. Notice no reviews. Excuse me. I felt bad leaving a negative review, so I didn't do it. But what I want you to see is Alabama is not the only state. Come on, flip over. There you go. That they offer training. And when I click on this is DC, when I first took this course, I took the notary.net Alabama Notary Online course probably 2018, if not before. I think it was 2018. I paid $49.95, and it contained pretty much what I saw in it today, this course. It's what was there in 2018 for the most part. And I remember not being pleased because $49.95 is a lot of money for me. So again, that's what they're charging the folks in DC and other states. So I think it's very interesting that Alabama's is only $5. I'm glad it's $5. I really am. Now that I'm wondering, could it be a typo? I hope not. So again, get it while you can if you're interested, but remember, you're going to need to compare what's in this course to what is outlined in our laws to make sure you don't get headed down the wrong path. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate all of you, especially my subscribers. If there's a topic that you would like for me to cover and you haven't seen it yet, let me know in the comments. I'll do my best to oblige you. Have a good rest of your day. So long.